Hello and good morning. It's Trisha in the Crochet with Trisha group. Thought I got a little bit of time, not much voice, but I thought I need to show you how to make these beautiful little crochet butterflies. I've teased you so often of late, and I thought now's the time to give them a go. So the PDF is in the files for your enjoyment. And to remind you later if you're not able to make one now. But I thought I would show you how quick and easy they are to make. So I won't actually be seeing any comments as far as I can see, although I have got my phone here. I don't intend saying too much apart from showing you how to make these butterflies. So I've got a little pink one and a little blue one, or a turquoise one, and a baby blue. So let's just have a look and see if it comes up here that we are actually live. Oh, there's a few people watching. I'm really sorry that I didn't give you more, oh there we are, didn't give you more notice of doing this, but whilst I've got the energy, I thought I will come on and do this. So let's just set those aside. So what we've got, a 3.5mm hook. You could use a 4mm one if you if your crocheting is a little bit looser, or you're perhaps a little bit tight and need it to be looser. But I tend to use a 3.5mm when I'm using double knit yarn. And then I've just got two different colours, and the white or the off-white is the centre, and the blue is going to be the main butterfly itself. So this is where we start. So we start off by making our little loop for our first chain, which is just popping that through like so to give us our loop. And then we're going to, I'm sure you're all quite familiar with this now, but we've got our loop on the hook, and I'm going to wrap the yarn around my fingers. Let's see if we just pull that in just a little bit closer. That's better. Okay, so I can see what we're seeing now. So we're going to do 6 chain, and we're going to slip stitch to join. So 1 chain, 2 chain, 3 chain, 4 chain, 5 chain, 6 chain, and then we're going to slip stitch into that very first one we did. So the hook goes into that stitch easily, should do. And I'm just going to, there's our little end, I'm just going to wrap my yarn around the hook, pull it through that stitch, and pull it through the stitch that was on, or the chain that is on the hook. There we are. So now we have our little circle there, which is what we're going to start off with. So we're now going to do 3 chain, which, as we know, substitutes for a treble. So 1, 2, 3 chain, and this first little bit, let's go that way a bit, or this way a bit. That's it, went the wrong way, that's right. Then we're going to do 1 treble, so if you just follow the instructions step by step. So yarn around the hook into that centre, yarn around the hook and pull it through, yarn around the hook, pull through 2, whoops, start again, sorry, into the hook, pull it through, yarn around the hook, pull through 2, yarn around the hook, pull through 2. So that is our first pair of 2 trebles. So we're now going to do 2 chain, 1, 2, and I'm now going to do another 2 trebles. So yarn around the hook into the circle, yarn around the hook, pull it through, yarn around the hook, pull through 2, yarn around the hook, pull through 2. So I need to do 1 more. Sorry, I'm just pulling my yarn here. And 1 more treble, yarn around the hook, into the circle, yarn around the hook, pull through 2. So now I've got, as you can see, the 2 trebles together with that 2 chain space. So the next step is 2 chain, 1, 2, let's come over here, and then 2 more trebles, 1 and 2. Okay, so there's my third set of trebles there. And then we're just going, and 2 chain is the next instruction. And then in the brackets it says repeat until you have 8 sets of 2 trebles. So I've got 1, 2, 3, so I've got to do 5 more. So 2 trebles, so here is our 1 and 2, followed by a 2 chain. Repeat it, so it's 2 trebles, 2 chain, 1, 2, 2 trebles, there's 1, whoops, 1, 2 trebles, and 2 chain, 1, 2, and 2 trebles, and we can count as we go, 1, 2 trebles, 2 chain, and let's just put a little bit more thread from here, or pop it down there. That's it. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So another 2 trebles, 2 more to go. So there's 1 and 2. Always 2 chained, follow the 2 trebles. Just pull that around, just make a little bit more space in the circle, and then 2 trebles. So 1 and 2, and then we'll count again. So let's just pull those around, get that little bit of thread out of the way. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the last little bit is 2 chain, that makes our little space, and then a slip stitch into the 3rd chain of the top, that first 3 chains that was our substitute for a treble. So in, around, through that hook, through that loop, and through the next loop. So there we have our centre. Now at this point we're going to change the yarn colour. So I'm just going to grab that yarn, break it, and pull that through. So that's tied off. We're then going on to, I'm just going to clip that, oh no, perhaps I'm not, that little bit of thread from underneath is in my way. So we're now going on to our blue yarn here. So let's pop this down here and get our blue yarn. Oh, that's that bit there. Right, it's good to get it when it's attached to the ball of yarn. Okay, so we're going to join this now. So the easiest way is just to knot it. So there's that around there, and just give a little knot. But we're going to pull it right down to, where are we? Pull it right down to where the crocheting starts. It's probably easier to do it closer to this edge. Okay, so do it right down near the end here. Just wrap that round and make a little knot, and then just pull that down to the bottom. There we are. So we're right next to here. We can always, if you make that yarn longer, that's it, we can stitch that in later. So now we're going to wrap our yarn around our fingers, and we're going to insert the hook in between. So there is my 2 trebles, and I'm going to put my yarn in between the 2 and just bring a loop through. We'll put that little bit out of the way under here. Bring that through and bring up and yarn around the hook and pull through to make a chain. So I've attached it there. So now each time we're going to be working into these 2 chain spaces. So there's my 2 treble in the middle. Let's go over here. There's my 2 treble, and there is my spaces. So we're not doing a chain, we're just going to do 6 trebles. So 6 trebles, one after the other, into that space. So yarn around the hook, in, yarn around the hook, pull it through, yarn around. So there's our first one, and 2, and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. Right, so once I've done, so I've got my 6 trebles there. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to slip stitch in between the next 2 trebles. So there is my next 2 trebles, and I'm going to put my hook in between, yarn around the hook, pull it through and pull it through that last chain. So it's basically attached it in between there. Now I've got my 2 chain space, and I'm going to do 6 trebles into there. So yarn around the hook and 1 treble and 2 trebles and 3 trebles and 4. You can just keep counting as you go along, and 5 and 6. So just like before, there's my next 2 trebles. I'm going in between the 2, no yarn around the hook, but yarn around the hook now to pull that through and pull that same loop through. So it's slip stitched in between those 2 trebles there. So I'm going to now do 6 trebles in each of the 2 chain spaces, working in exactly the same way. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, and we've got to fill, there's 8 spaces, we've got to fill all 8. There's my 2, so in between, yarn around the hook, pull it through those chains. So let's pull a little bit more thread, and 6 more trebles into that next space. So it's good to keep the yarn fairly loose so that it comes through easily, unlike that. So yarn around the hook into that 2 chain space, and 1 treble and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. So if you're reading the pattern now, TR stands for treble, SS slip stitch, which is what I'm going to do here, in between the 2, yarn around the hook, pull it through, and then just pull that through again. So next 2 chain space, and we're going to do 6 trebles again. This also could double as a flower if we didn't do that last, so I pulled that through too far, so that's it, there we go, yarn around the hook, so that's number 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, and slip stitch to anchor, so in between that 2 treble, so in the middle, yarn around the hook, pull it through and pull through that. So there's my next big space, and we'll do 6 trebles again. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. Okay, slip stitch in between the next 2, so hook in there, yarn around the hook and pull it through the chain. Only got 2 more to go, so 1 treble, 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 into between the two, yarn around the hook, pull it through. Now let's just see. I don't want to hear all the... Oh, there's Bridget there as well. Okay. Oh, right. Let's just have a look. And into that last one, 6 trebles, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. Okay, so let's just have a count up. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's what we want. You can see how that looks like a lovely flower. So I've got 8 sets of these 6 trebles here. So the next thing is to slip stitch into the first chain of the first 6th cluster. So here, so we're going to slip stitch down here, so into that stitch, yarn around the hook, pull it through, and then pull it through that chain. So now we're all completely finished, or finished that part. If you wanted to leave it as a flower, you could just pull that yarn through and pop it, stitch it into the back here so it's hidden. But what we need to do now to make it into the butterfly is we now need to make 8 chain. So the yarn's still attached, and we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4. I suggest move your finger up, 5, 6, 7, 8. So while you have got that like so, we're now going to fold this bottom half backwards. So fold it behind, and just going to pull those, whoops, pull those down, line up those petals. There we go. Let's just get that thread up the way. And because there's 8, you'll see they line up 2 on top of each other, don't they? Well, they should do. That's it. So go in between. There we go. I've got 8 there. 2, 4, 6, 8 I have. Right, so we're going to push up the back to meet here. And it's going to be 2 on 2 on the middle. There we go. That's better. So you've got 2 clusters there, 2 clusters behind, 2 there and 2 behind there. So then with this, get those little bits out of the way. Here is our chain. I'm just grabbing hold of it. So we can turn the butterfly so that the chain goes up the middle. Can you see there? So it's lining up the middle here, and then turn it again. So you're turning it towards you, just pulling that a little bit more. And then at the bottom here, you are going to slip stitch into this bottom edge to join it together. So where this centre bit is here, we're just going to pop our hook in there, yarn around the hook, pull it through the chain. I'll just do one more stitch there, and then break the thread and pull that through. There we are, to tighten that off. And then there we have our little butterfly. There we go. As simple as that. There is our butterfly. Didn't take long at all, did it? Half an hour or so. And all with trebles, usually 2 trebles at a time in that first round. 2 trebles followed by 2 chain. And then when we come to the blue round, we've got just 6 trebles into that 2 chain space, a slip stitch in between the 2 of the white round, and then 6 trebles, slip stitch, 6 trebles, slip stitch. So there really isn't too much. Oh, Bridget loves it. Lovely. Really isn't too much to think about. And once you've done one, you'll just sit there and make one after another. I think they look lovely hanging from a mobile. Also put a brooch back on the back, and you have a little brooch. Make it in lurex threads. Make it with the same technique, but perhaps use a finer thread and a smaller hook to get a smaller butterfly. I'll have to have a go at that later. Jane loves it too, and Caroline. So you can hear my voice going. I have still not 100% by any means. I'm perhaps 60 to 70%, but hopefully I'm going to be better. It may be that tonight's Sew with Trisha group, Technique Tuesday, I might do that earlier in the day. I have uploaded the PDF in there. And there is a PDF for the butterfly in the group as well. So you'll be able to read through that. You don't have to remember, but when you read through it, once you've done one, as I say, you'll just be able to do another and another, just with quick glimpses at the instructions. So I'm going to leave you there because I've also got in mind as to doing something in the machine embroidery group now, because I have somewhat neglected it. But with being poorly, I know, Bridget, I won't overdo it. But surely I can sit here at a machine and show you and just talk a little bit. Anyhow, love you and leave you. Enjoy whatever you're doing. And if you get a chance to fit this into your day, that would be lovely. So we'll see you later. And thanks for joining me. Bye for now. Oops. Can't even find where the off is. Oh.